Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Macon Campbell and this is maconSTUFF. So I did mention in my last video that I was probably not going to show all of the stripping for the rest of the case unless there were some of you that wanted to see it. So far in the comments of my last video there is one guy who is interested in seeing that. I'm not sure what his name is, but his YouTube handle is Life of Hearth. He also happened to give me a ton of great advice on how to better strip and refinish all these parts, some of which I have thought of and then a whole lot which I hadn't thought of at all. I'm going to try and follow as much of the advice as I can, but I can't make any promises. So if you're watching this video, thank you very much for all the great advice. This one's for you. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to start out with most of the more intricate pieces because I think that those are going to be the hardest to do. So once I got that out of the way, the rest of the flat, fairly boring pieces should be a whole lot easier. So without any further ado, let's get started. So in the comments of my last video there was another guy that gave me a great piece of advice in terms of stripping the parts. I can't remember what his name was, but I'll flash it on screen over here. Thank you very much. I'm going to give it a try now and see how it goes. What he said basically is once you apply your stripper to your piece of material, it's a good idea to cover it with plastic so that the stripper that's on the wood doesn't evaporate as quickly, which gives it a much longer time to work on the actual finish. That kind of made sense to me, so what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of rubbish bags here. I'm going to cut them open along the sides, flip them open, pack all my pieces inside. I'll apply the stripper and then just close them up again. So let's do it. Okay, so while that paint stripper is working, I'm going to try and round up some of these smaller pieces like these finials here, these little balls, these. Most of these are already loose. Some of them are not as loose, but I'm going to see if I can get them off so I can put stripper on all of them, and I'm going to chuck them all in just a plastic carry bag. Let's do it. Okay, well, I'm not sure if it's because of the type of stripper that I'm using, but wrapping it in plastic is definitely not helping much for me. In fact, I think it made it worse. The plastic stuck to the stripper, struggled getting it off. It still dried out quite a lot. As you can see, there is still a lot of the stripper mixed with melted varnish still stuck on here. If I carry on with the same stripper, I'm probably going to have to go through this process at least another 2 times to get all the varnish off. I am, however, going to see if I can get hold of any other kind of stripper that might do a better job of this. So I'll check back a bit later if I happen to find another kind of stripper. Okay, so I got 2 more types of stripper. I got this, which is called Durastrip, and I got this, which is a Luxor paint stripper. But thanks to me not reading the instructions again, I realized that this one says it is not recommended for use on plastic, fiberglass or wooden surfaces. So I guess this one is out. I guess I'll have to go back tomorrow and hopefully they will refund this, or at least I can purchase something else for the same value. So I guess I'm going to try with this one. I've already opened it. It smells totally different and the consistency is also different. This is a lot runnier than the other one. So I'm going to apply this one and we'll see how it goes. I also bought myself a drop sheet. So hopefully I'll have a nicer surface to work on. And I also went ahead and bought myself a couple of brushes. These 2 are fairly medium. I got this one as well, which is really hard bristles. So between these 3, hopefully I can get the job done. Okay, I'm just going to coat one of them for now and we'll see how it goes. Okay, this one says to leave it for 5 to 10 minutes, so I'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, it's looking a lot better, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do another round of stripping on this piece. Whichever way you cut it, it looks like I'm going to have to do this process 3 times for each piece. Moreover, I think that it's going to be best if I do 1, maximum 2 pieces at the same time. Because if I've got too many pieces, then the stripper is going to dry out on some of the pieces that I'm not getting to. And I've noticed that my stripper specifically, once it gets dry, it gets very sticky and tacky and very difficult to remove. Before I put another layer on, I'm going to run over it with some steel wool and some acetone and see how much more of this residue I can get removed. If I get it all off, then great. Otherwise, I'll have to do another round of stripping again after this. Okay, I'm pleased to say I think that looks pretty good. Most definitely compared to that. So I have one panel done. Let me move over to the rest of them. Okay, so I've been working the whole morning and I've only managed to finish these 4 parts. I wasn't happy with how it looked yesterday, so I went ahead and I did another round of stripper on all of them. This part over here specifically was a nightmare. By far the hardest part so far. I think I'm letting my mild case of OCD get the better of me. So I'm going to do one more bigger piece on camera. I'm going to try a nice flat piece, which should hopefully be easier and hopefully boost my morale somewhat. So the next time I check back with you, I will hopefully have a more effective workflow concerning stripping all these parts. I'm going to put these aside, get that big flat piece I'm eyeing, and get started on it. Okay, so this is the piece I'm going to try next. As you can see, it's nice and big and nice and flat. It does have a decorative piece stuck at the bottom here with nails. I think the best is going to be to remove that and add it back later. Oh great. I see it's got a crack in here anyway, so I'm probably going to have to fix that before I put it back anyway. So let me pry this off and get to stripping. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I finished off that bigger piece yesterday and I'm happy with how that turned out. So I've got my first 5 pieces done and probably like 100 still to go. I finished all of these off this morning off camera, and I must say these were quite a pain in the ass because they're so small and difficult to work with. It was very challenging to get them clean. So from what I've learned so far is that it seems that the bigger pieces are a whole lot easier to clean than the little pieces. So I'm going to carry on with as many of the smaller pieces as possible, and I'm going to leave the bigger, bulkier parts for last. So I've also tried many different methods and workflows on how to get this done. So I think I've sort of settled on what seems to be working for me. And it goes something like this. Stage number 1, I add the stripper, let it do its work for 10 to 15 minutes, scrape off whatever I can on the flat surfaces. Wipe away anything that's left over with paper towels. Once that's done, I grab my steel wool and some acetone and I clean away whatever I couldn't remove with the paper towels. Once that's done, I clean it off with a wet rag and I repeat everything again for as many times as necessary to get the parts as clean as I want them. So I better get to it. Okay guys, I think I've done just about as much as I can do for this week. I'm going to carry on with the rest of the parts next week. I'm really going to make an effort to try and show a whole lot less footage than I usually do. It's kind of a struggle with me. Whenever I'm shooting a video for something, it's kind of all or nothing. I'm really going to have to figure out a way to get past that, but this is the perfect opportunity for me to work on that. The process and the procedure for the rest of the parts is going to be pretty much exactly the same. So I'm just going to take some sparse footage here and there so that I have more time to actually get the job done. So let me not use up any more of your valuable time. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and share it with any of your friends that may also be organ enthusiasts. If you have any comments, drop them down below. And as always, keep making stuff.